So we open with Erica giving us her best soap opera cry and hyperventilating because this is a really hard time in her life. But Kyle was actually making sense. It's like, girl, you was married forever. You know that coot gone call with a coot call, coot, 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 a coot call. She's trying to conceal her coot calls. And Rena trifling ass right next to her, just coaching her. Like, it was like watching an acting class. It really was. And the truth is, maybe a first year acting class. It was truly the blind leading the untalented. Rena gonna say, I'm sorry that happened. That's messed up. So you basically continuing to throw shade at Garcelle. You doing to the confessionals, and now you saw an opportunity to hold her feet to the fire. And you took it. Garcelle said, you know what? I'm outie. I don't need this. So Kathy gets Garcelle to come back. And she says, look, it's not worth it for me to do this to you. You're important to me. You're my friend. And Erica's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You could also say, I know you didn't do this on purpose. Sutton and Kyle both say, this is not about Garcelle. I don't know what shoe about to drop, but Erica, you clearly in danger, girl. I mean, when Sutton says your reaction is a little much, when Sutton says, you really doing something. So Erica says, you know what? I'm a little bit of a mess right now, so I'm going to head on back to the Heezy and stop ruining everyone's weekend with my poverty and my debt. My debt. Rena, you are such a turd burglar. She runs outside after Erica. We know you're going to open up in your own time. Why push it? Any chance to throw Garcelle under the bus. Garcelle knew she couldn't trust your butt. Oh, child, Rena is here. So everybody come back in and Rena sit down and ask Garcelle, why did you think you had to ask that in that moment? Because they had just been sharing? That's why? So it was a continuation of the conversation. So Garcelle is realizing these OGs is sticking together and the newbies is left to fend for themselves. And she's like, y'all just kind of threw me out on a limb. She can't break into the inner sanctum. Well, it's only your second season. You've got like 2 more seasons to go before you in there. It takes a minute. Now we getting ready for dinner. And Sutton asks Kathy, what do you think about this earring? I think that's darling, but the necklace is a little daytime. Oh my God. Sutton said she's so bossy, and she is, but she's got the bucks to back it up. Sutton, you need to stick with this jacket look. This actually is giving you a waist. A waist. Imagine that. You actually look half human. You don't look like Mr. Potato Head. I'm sorry, Mr. Peanut. You don't look like Mr. Peanut. Dorit, that outfit is everything. Rena's in a simple jumpsuit with an oversized buckle. Cute. And Kyle's look, well, that's forgettable in every way. Much like Kyle herself. She used to be a pretty white woman. Used to be. Now she's just a white woman. So Rena goes up to Sutton and says, is that bracelet real? Of course it's real. Do you think I wear paste? Please. Now you may cat around in your Claire's crap, but I wear jewelry, not jury. Now Garcelle, I love you, but this leather coat dress ain't doing it for me. And Crystal, girl, you look like you running errands after a day from the office. Like, really? You just said I don't give a crap, because the look is shitty. So we sitting down to dinner, and Garcelle's like, yeah, I sent Erica a text, and I just, apologized. I knew where I was coming from. I wasn't trying to get at her. And Rena gonna say, is there anything you can own in it? And in the confessional, she says, Garcelle throws jabs. You just trying to get back at her for making fun of you and your daughter's eating disorders. I said it. And she did it, and she did too. I can't believe that Dorit said, well, maybe you were needling a little bit. No, she wasn't. They were having a conversation, and she was opening up. And Crystal said, well, she really wasn't there when Erica said she didn't want to come out. And Garcelle said, I know who I am. You don't have to defend me. This could have happened to any one of us. I'm not taking this on. Y'all can be funky if you want to. Oh, Lord. Kathy then said, I don't see color, Garcelle. Kathy, you know better. Well, you probably don't. You're like, well, Michael Jackson said it to me. I don't know if we want to go on that as the authority. Child, I heard Dorit step in and I was waiting for Garcelle to catch it. And child, she caught that fly ball with one hand. Dorit gonna say, well, we have a lot of people of color that work at the house. And they're some of the people my children have loved most in this world. It's like, oh, okay, so your kids are only around, the help of color, basically. That's how they will recognize us as, we're supposed to get you something. We're your magical Negroes. Mm-hmm. And Gar said, so are there only people of color helping at your house? That's what's going on here? You're like a good black nanny? Mm-hmm. Told on yourself. On yourself. Sutton said, I'm not reliving this. I have nothing to say. Crystal said, when Kathy said a fun game or a dark game, she said, I think this is the dark game. Show your privilege. I'm actually with Dorit. Why are y'all doing your own dishes? She said, we dressed for dinner, not for dishes. Harry has acrylic nails on one hand so he can play guitar. Who's his guitar by? Anus. Now, I'm sorry. I have been around music. We didn't all heard about rock stars and guitar players. I ain't never heard no shit like that. Ever. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. He has acrylics on one hand because he plays in anus with the other. So he keeps those nails cut to the quick. Guitar. He's a friggin' actor, but he's got acrylics so he can play guitar. He's playing the gooch. That hand was so feminine, I just wanted to call Rob Dixon and tell her, honey, why don't you try this? But we know why she keeps her nails short, too. Mm-hmm. So the next morning, the LA Times article about Erica and Tom Girardi drops. And they're all looking at it and they're like, what's it say? How bad is it? And they're like, it's a long article. It was long and thorough. Thorough as Tom's theft. This was the article after that deposition when the coot had to get on camera and say, I'm coinless. I'm broke as a he-hank. I ain't got nothing but dick and bubblegum, and I'm fresh out of bubblegum. I love how Kyle and Renna, when Sutton came down, they were like asking her like she was the legal expert. And I guess because she did go through that really intense, high profile, got all the coin divorce. And she said, yeah, Erica's going to have to go to court and give that $20 million back to the victims. And Kyle was like, well, where is that money? Renna said, we don't know where that is. And Sutton said, I think it's gone. I think that money went to plain gas and high-end fashion. That money is gone. I think it's gone. Child, Kyle said, so if she doesn't have the money, she's fucked. Sutton said, well, she might be. She might be. This is a juicy episode. Sutton is keeping it real. Sutton said, well, she's legally liable because her name is on the LLC and she could go to jail. Prison. For fraud. Felony fraud. Because this case is federal. So all the heifers at this point have a little bit of distrust for Heifer Jane. Ooh, Sutton wants to meet with Kyle and Dorit without Erica. She's like, I have questions. What did you know and when did you know it? Geez, Crystal, you look terrible. Who told you to put on that sequin jacket? And why you always got on a high-waisted jean? Oh, you are the most boring dresser. These girls bring it. Better not tell you to wing it, 'cause you'll fall flat on your face into a pile of ugly clothing. I'll give you that alligator Hermes though. That was cute. Now the bag was cute, but that outfit, I need more from you. So the night before the Erica Janeless Ponderosa, this is when she was posting pictures of the alleged mistress on her bed, an old Moto Razor phone text. Anything to throw off the scent. Girl, Sutton shows up ready to handle business. She came in her little black dress, and I'm like, who you about to lay to rest? Because this is going to be a funeral. She said, I left La Quinta thinking something was amiss. Sutton said, I have questions, and I don't know if I want to be around her right now because I'm not playing in court. She don't play in court, and you get called as a witness, then you got to be in court and dealing with all this mess, and then she going to start begging for money. Sutton's like, I'm going to cut you off before you can ask me for shit. And that was the shit. So I'm going to see you soon for something. So tell a kin, tell a friend, tell that heifer you hate.